等一下，他调一下。我们先看一下这个好了。
你看。好。返回哦，不是重启哦，返回哦。
返回哦。
按咯。
按了。
Already, this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
好像是右边的。
右边，然后跳下去，还会跳吗？
可以。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
真的吗？
真的。
连你都晕了。
连我都晕了。
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
因为你像有时候让你看东西嘛，然后又要上去，这样快，这样就很容易晕。
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
这样。
刚才走红色的。走红色就是就是跳楼的那个。跳楼那个啊，那走蓝色。
Perhaps misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
他直接把你传送回来。
I still don't think he's communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
这个好好笑啊！我要走蓝色的。
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
评价就是分数意思。
对啊，1分可能他就又改一次这样。
A 1? I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
为什么？
那统计数字，
只有3个3%，
怎样？
选择蓝色的门。get the， 是我
有9万多个人开门。
Only the just the nothing to avoid attacking and standing。
你呛对不对？
好。
现在不是。
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through the doors? Again, honest answers, please.
对啊，他说他改了，就是有一个排行榜啊。他说这样有没有比较好
？2分吗？
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
我觉得等下一定是很惨那种。
The baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
还那么大声，拉死吗？
不
知道哎。
我都按几下好了。
会不会有一个成就是你真的玩了4个小时？神经病！
好像你不要让他死哎！
废话，他就是要这样。
好，算了，我让他死好了。
他也故意那么大声。
那死不了，好，让他死。
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Well, Stanley, is this any better? That's the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No, here. And then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
我有点进不去呢。
你会不会啊？进不去。
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
他说要去采矿。 Go！
哪里有？
哦，开路。
才靠你去地底下。
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light? Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Yeah. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one.
New game.
Okay, new game.
我觉得这很烂。
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Yeah. 那可以拔掉吗？
不行，
它是可以，你可以进去就有用。
不行，
你就按一下那个蓝棒。
不行。
它这个门，出来，可以出来吗？
可以。对啊，去找他头。对啊，19分。我觉得等一下。
这搞不好是因为游戏是。
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
把它搬过来。
我觉得不太对啊。
是吗？就拿起来压住了。
这什么游戏
？Genius.
Genius. 那我看一下有没有什么问题。 19关哎。
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for.
什么地方？ 大，
乱走。那应该是就是他已经把我们抛弃了。
真的随便走。12、3，帮你放。12、3那会不会很激烈？我们
对啊，对，我们去12就
12、7。那键盘声音。没东西啊。
按左边。按那个这个。 没东西，没东西。这个路就这间。
你看那个监视器，
这监视器好。
我以为他会照着我。好厉害！
抛弃我们。
可是不是这条路。
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it, down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
结束了，结束了。所以要回去了。
不知道。有一个结局。
你知道去关门有一个结局？
不知道。
啊，你就被锁在里面。
靠背啊，然后嘞，他会讲话吗？
好像不是。
而且
他怎么不讲啊？因为我自己关过2次，那有一次有讲，一次没讲。
那你要怎么办？重看？
对啊。
你这可以打。
不是。
你干嘛的？你关门了。
不行。觉得我们该重启游戏。因为我上次也是这样。
就把自己锁起来了。
对啊。如果我现在不要动，然后他会怎样？
是啊。他要把自己锁起来的。
对啊。这是其中一个。我们等一下看会不会有剧情出来。
所以刚才那个就那样。
对啊。
那我们是。
可是我刚刚那个地方那么大对啊。可以跑别的地方
但是我觉得应该差不多。
我觉得我们等一下再走一次好了，因为我刚刚不是掉下去吗？如果不要掉下去，走那边的门，还是一定要掉下去的？
不知道我觉得我觉得应该都一样，就是那边也是让你乱走这样。
对啊，我觉得是。
就重开吧。
重启了。重启游戏。
没有这样的。我在要重启。
我再关一次门，看会不会讲话。
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
这样子啊，就没了。
一个结局。
不然你再去刚才晃一次。
好，我再晃一次。
那个要怎么去？
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
看一次，我觉得应该还有别的东西吧。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
No.
What? Really?
What?
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
但是技能就会变，
刚刚那个
线跳。
有可能。不行，再走一次。蓝色。
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look. Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No, here. And then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining. Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light? Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game. Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is. Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games. And I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can be...
你说这里要多走一点。
对啊。还是掉下去了。
对你说的
哇，都一样。我真走不同条路。我都相同的。
那也是可以。
对啊，一样。
那我们走那个楼下。
好。我们重启游戏，跟他讲一段话。
啊。
都是一样的。
是吧？
哎呀。哎。
哎。
哎。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to... Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
你玩过了，
他讲一样的话，
应该是吧？
There was nothing here, no choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
I am okay. 过了没有？
没有哎，
还是在这边？我是做梦。
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
这是一个结局吗？
看到没有回到里面。有，
对，
看到什么？左边的那一条。就是你先走右边的门，然后会让你回到。
哦。
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean, truly, truly, deeply, madly, love. Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so up, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no. No, it's to the right. I'm mistaken.
Whoa!
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Okay.
Let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Oh.
No. This isn't right at all. I'm not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
左边就是
好，哎，
When Stanley... Wait.
等一下
What?
哎，
No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come on, Stanley. Let's find the story.
有几个门啊？1、2、3、1、2、3、4、5，
应该走了5个。你看这个是绝不能走。我觉得他想法对。
我觉得不管多少人，我们应该解决都一样，不然
先走最后。
好，不然像风
一样，像那个，我都绕。
我觉得应该跟你刚才想要尝试的那个不一样。
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
他旁白要录好多东西。
对啊，
那个树状图一直画。没啊。
对。
Okay. It's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
哎，哦，
这个结局好长，这条线好长。
对啊。
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
往前走一下。
可是正常是往前走。
正常往前走啊。
那你指在这边啊？
怎么办？不走吗？先跟他走，然后等下第二次。
第二次好久。
对啊，好久哎。
对，你先走。要吗？
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
小声一点。好，不动了。
好了。
不能左右啊！哎呦。再画啊！
可以大声的啦，
对啊。你现在这样让到吗？
不用吧。
哎，走这边。不同条路。
哎，
不同条路哎。
哎。那你认得线吗？
对啊，就刚刚前面那条就不是认得线了。
哇，那我们要回去哪？
应该是一样，应该是一样的。看那个走廊。
那我现在应该是跟那条路对。
但是我不小心超距离的，我应该走这边，走到他身旁。确认一下。对，一样的。哦。
这里要走到哪一次
Cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
记下它，记下它。
蕨类。
啊，蕨类。
啊。我家在唬。
对，我现在在唬我而已。
Wait, we're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
走吧。
Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Restart. 只有一个专线，好，这个让他走。
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
是吧？不是阿关山的，是本来走右边的门，然后叫你折回去
哦，对对对对，
然后还有下去，
对，走下去那个。
哦。
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
有了。
我专心看字幕就可以。
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it. That should be fine.
随便他怎么发展，不用管逻辑。
不用管逻辑。OK。
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere the place where we're trying to go must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
只看一个。
他应该也知道我们很难在。
没事，偏离维修是。
对啊，这是我们走到的、啊。
来，讲。
第一次我们偏离维修室，然后下去到电工室，然后旁白重启游戏。第一次重启之后发现。
Oh, hold up! What's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending, and we're supposed to restart the game 8 times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? What if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing. Wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do happen to have a...
他忘记了吗？
他重启，然后忘记所有事情吧。
对。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
这条线太长。
对啊，这条线好长哦。
我们要重启8次，这第7次。那这怎么办？
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
那我们现在要怎样？
对啊。
那我们现在要怎样？
怎么办？
随便选了，还是我们有哪里没去？都去了。
过去啊，在这边，天堂白的。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
下去是婴儿那个吗？
对对对。
但是都一样了呢。 还是我们没有照着那个表上面的做。
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
啊，要走博物馆。
不然你只走的就是暗跟欧服而已啊。
对啊。
除非我们可以把欧服剪掉，可是他应该是不可以。
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
地板，对不起。 Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
"那你去博物馆，你看过就不要看，然后你去找你想要走的路，不然它两个当机。我记得我刚才有走到一个什么出口。
对啊，我看到。我记得我看到。
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
哎，我办公室。
他应该还有一种看过。
对啊，这个
你是看的是不是早期？
开发时期老板。
开发时期。
晓得。找些版本底下是，但是要找。
去掉了情节。
Stanley pushed the orange lever. Then he pushed the number 4.
哪里？
哇，他有在讲那个上面的白鸽。上面这个。你要对位题看书。
See how it's impossible for the player to do anything.
这是没有用进去。
Perfect example of poor level design, textbook.
有点像梦幻滑雪。
It's the kind of thing you pick up on intuitively if you have even some imagine the good of man.
没路了。时间都一样。
自由结局就完全照着他走。
这个呢？出口。
出口就是我们进来的吗？吧，不是吗？没关系。
看就看到这个吧。
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
有别的地方吗？
没有。
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now.
如果我这样按反而到菜单，会不会有不同的游戏、不同的剧情？我觉得不会。我觉得不会，反而游戏。
Be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose you.
我觉得搞不好会有算了。
会吗？
不要跟他赌。
Don't let time.
不要跟他赌好，不要跟他赌。然后呢？
但是就把我游戏笑到了，还是对
哎，我们等一下。
他是故意这样的吧？
我觉得应该
是就这样的，就要真的要叫我们重开了。
我觉得他在跑。
是吗？跑，
有点久。我觉得不太对劲哦。
我觉得他故意，就是故意啊，就是对啦，故意的。但是我们也没办法做什么，重开。
是吗？不然我现在。
要不然你觉得是怎样？当掉？
我现在。我觉得是当掉
是当掉吧？他只是假死刚好当掉嘛，假死就结束。
就是搞不好换场的过程的。
还是你要再跑一次？
不要，好久那个还没跑完那刚刚那个到底跑完了没有？
刚刚哪个？
就是我们说很长的那个啊。
你说有线的那个吗？
对啊。
那应该是跑完了吧？
我觉得还没
你说有8种的那个？
对啊，我觉得还没我们再等一下，休息10分钟。我觉得是电脑才可以。
然后我选标的那个标，那个一次可以看很多，对了。最后面那一只。所以我们现在不能放那个。
这个呢？
这好像也会被砍掉，那要打光光。放一只。
冲啊！还有雪球，我也要放这个。你那个有什么保护吗？
啊？
那个要保护吗？
你放炮手、枪手在后面。
好。后面吗？
对，你要等我，因为他会，他要跑一阵子。
可以放啊。
对。没有，那后面那个会扫掉。
后面那个。
后面那个就是回旋镖那个。
哦，丢在炮兵了。
好。
他丢来怎么跑那么快啊？
那个。对，那只能逃。再可以做这个东西。刚好被炸掉。
哦，刚好是被刚好被处理掉。
左右左边。等我先随便装，你先随便。对。一样放我那个在后面。应该先盖住它，先盖住它，不然那个气球会来炸我们。别放后面。滚掉。干。
哦。
它不见了。怎么那么快？
这算我们输吗？
对。对不起。
哇。
继续打。
我就是当机耶。
你重开啊！重开要看你要玩哪一个。
他不是当机耶。
那就是故意的。你就重启吧。
重启还要再？他刚刚说哪一个？
他放回到再打。还叫重启。
他刚刚说哪一个？
他刚才是说 ESC 关掉游戏，他没有说怎样。
他没有说退掉还是重启吗？你看一下，他跟他讲什么？
应该没讲什么，应该就是叫我们关游戏的意思。他没有那么神吧？你看。点击退出啊，退出到菜单。
退出。
对啊，就觉得一样。那看你现在看要做哪一段，是不是都做完了？
This is the story of a man named.
这不走完了没？
对啊，就看你要不要走那8
All
个。
of his co-workers were gone.
8个有个
What did it
惨的。
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
我觉得这个游戏已经结束了。
有很多小的。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his
然后红
left.
色一直的那个，譬如走红色看会不一样。
那是哪一条？ 右边的。
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too much, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you forgot. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the... Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel... No, wait. Where are you going?
没了。我觉得我们已经破得很多种。
Stay away from those stairs. If you...
就是除了我们那个就是地上有线很长的那一条之外，还有其他。
我觉得我们可以看一下别人玩的。
可是你要怎么看呢？你应该是要去查网页吧？
对啊，直接看他们都到底。
你要查网页，如果你看 YouTube 的存档、实况存档，我们要找到死。
不是啊，就看，我觉得会有人做精简版，就说到底有几种结局。
好啊，
来看。我们先退出吧。
或者那我先关直播。
说再见。
这个拿来。这个显示都没有用。
都没有人买。
再见了。
拜拜。拜拜。我把这个。哎，歪掉！你不要让我靠近，好靠近。拜拜。
好烂哦！